Well, hey there. Welcome to the Kim Constable podcast. Nobody cares. Work harder. So what have I got for you this week? Well, you are going to love what I have in store. Oh yes, I have a tanning masterclass by the one and only Lynsey Bennett, who is the founder of Lusso Tan, which you guys will know is my absolute favourite tan in the whole world. Not only do Lusso Tan have the best tan, in my opinion, they also have developed an entire tanning system to make sure that you achieve the perfect, flawless tan every single time. And not only does a really good tan make you feel better, it also makes you look leaner and longer and fresher and feel better all right. Now, obviously, tanning is like, you're like, okay, Kim, tanning masterclass, really, on the Kim Constable podcast? Well, kind of hear me out. The reason why we've decided to do this is because, of course, we have launched Butt Camp 2.0. And if you're listening to this before October 11th, you are not too late to join the competition. We have a $42,000 prize fund. Yes, you heard me right. $42,000, $20,000 top prize to whoever makes the biggest transformation in 8 weeks. And you can still pick up a copy and join the competition. It is not too late. It starts October 11th, 2021. So if you're listening to this podcast after this date, then I'm sorry, Butt Camp has already been and gone. But you can still pick up the program from the website or from the app when it launches, which is November 1st, current date. And the website is thesculptedvegan.com. Go pick up your copy of Butt Camp 2.0 and you could be in with the chance of winning $20,000. And now we're going to go to the interview with Lynsey, where she is going to teach you how to achieve the perfect flawless tan, which of course is absolutely essential if you're going to be taking after photos for Butt Camp to submit for the competition to win the $20,000. So if you're already in the competition and you know you're going to be submitting your photos, you're not going to want to miss this episode. Now, I'm not going to talk to you again at the end. We're just going to finish the interview. It was awesome. Don't also forget that you can win a copy of a Sculpted Vegan program simply by leaving a review wherever you listen to this podcast. Simply send me a screenshot of the review to no, don't send it there. Not even thinking. Send it to The Sculpted Vegan on Instagram, and we will draw a winner every single month to win a Sculpted Vegan program of your choice. Okay, gonna stop babbling now. Go to the interview. You're gonna love Lynsey as much as I do. She's also a local girl, so it's another Irish accent. And I will speak to you next week for another episode of the Kim Constable podcast. Enjoy. Lynsey Bennett. Oh my God, it is so exciting to have you here because I have wanted to do this podcast with you for such a long time. How the hell are you?
I am very well. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
And you know what? All my listeners are going to be like, oh, another Northern Irish accent. And I'm like, yes, Lynsey literally lives like 5 minutes walk from my house. I only find out
stone's throw away, yes.
After a drunken Friday lunch.
A very drunken Friday lunch. I absolutely blame you for that, Kim Constable. It started off quite sensible.
It was the second bottle of champagne that sent us through the roof, I think, but it was such good fun. Really
followed by espresso martinis.
Followed by espresso martinis. That's right. I'd forgotten about the espresso martinis. That just proves how good it actually was. But you know what? We are Irish and we do enjoy a drink, and everyone listening to this podcast does know that anyway. So all good. But Lynsey, tell you why I wanted to have you on here. And we're going to do a bit, dive into who you are and what it is that you do in a second. But you may or may not know, you probably do, because I know you follow me on social media and we're friends, obviously. Butt Camp, our latest competition, starts on Monday, and it's Butt Camp 2.0. It's an updated version of the original Butt Camp with a gym program. And just actually doing a shameless plug here for anyone who has not bought Butt Camp 2.0, we have a $42,000 prize fund. For the competition, $20,000 first prize, $10,000 second, $5,000 third, $3,000 fifth, $1,000 fourth, and $500 for 6th to 10th place, starting Monday, the 11th of October, 2021, depending on when you are listening to this. So, and the reason why I specifically wanted to do this particular podcast now is because one of the biggest questions we get asked during the Butt Camp competition for people taking their after photos is, what about my tan? And everybody always says, what about my tan? And how do I tan? And how dark should my tan be? And how do I prep for my tan? And it's incredible how many people, especially in America, maybe it's because they have warmer weather generally than we do, but how many people are complete tanning virgins, which is very shocking to me. But you are obviously founder of Lusso Tan and master of all things tanning. And that's specifically why I wanted to have you on here, so we could do like a little master class for my people on how to achieve the perfect tan. Are you up for it?
I'm up for it. I absolutely love that intro. Do you know Belfast has got 1.8 million people and we are the tanning capital of Europe?
Are you kidding me?
We're the tanning capital of Europe. So there is nothing I do not know about tanning. And whenever I hear someone's a virgin to tanning, I am shocked, especially because we are so informed now on how much the sun damages your skin with skin cancer. But also for me, because I'm so vain, it's more so the anti-aging when I think of sun damage. And I myself in my 20s spent a lot of time in the sun. I would have had baby oil on, out lying in the sun. And the damage that I did to my skin in my 20s is now only showing really in my 40s.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And do you know what I really want you to talk about? So I want you to tell us a little bit about your backstory, because I've known you for like a long time. Not well, I've only known you well the last few years, but I've known you and your sisters for, oh my God, do you know, I want to say 20 years.
Isn't that scary, Kim? That's so crazy.
20 years now. So tell us a little bit about your backstory. Like why should we even trust you with our tan?
So my destiny was never the beauty industry. And when I finished school, I went into sales and I loved it. I had such a long career working for a big PLC and really, really enjoyed it. And then there was a change in management and it clashed with personal issues. And I was really on the point of a nervous breakdown. And I thought something has to change in my life. And my sisters and I had, which where you would know us from, a tiny little tanning salon. At the time, which would have had sunbeds in it as well as spray tanning.
Yeah, sunbeds. Yeah. It's just in the corner from my house. And I just
that's right.
There.
Yeah. And it's such the opposite of what I promote now, but that's how we started off. And when I was in this really bad headspace, I thought to myself, okay, I need to make a change. I want to work for myself. You know, if management has caused this kind of mental health to me, I want to eradicate that. So I wanted to start my own business. And because I had got that little tanning salon and we were sort of introducing new treatments such as nails, etc., I thought, okay, let's do something within the beauty world. And my sisters and I went to night school. Now, I'm not a therapist in the sense that I would practice it every day, but I really wanted to learn the ins and outs of the business completely. And we opened the Secret Day Spa in 2009, which is in the middle of a global recession. And I am go big or go home. There was no middle ground with me. I wanted all bells, all singing and dancing. So we have 3 floors there. We have 17 therapists that work for us.
I was at the opening of Secret Day Spa.
Yes! Oh my gosh.
West Coast Cooler, I think, sponsored it. And I remember it was whenever they just introduced their pink West Coast Cooler. You say, I remember the details.
You have such an amazing memory. No wonder you're such an awesome entrepreneur. You know, the memory of an elephant.
No, it was fabulous though, and it still is.
So that's really how I got into the beauty business. And I think that sort of happens in life. You think that you know the path that you're taking, and then something is thrown up and your path completely changes. And for me, it's actually always changed for the better. Whenever I have been down a really rocky path, and I get to rock bottom, something always happens and I take a different route, and it's always for the better.
But here, I remember you telling me about you and your sisters. So you have a big family, don't you? How many brothers and sisters?
I have 2 sisters and 3 brothers.
Yeah, 2 sisters, so 6 of you in total. And I remember you telling me about you and your sisters, you know, getting ready for nights out and always doing each other's tans. And, you know, you have kind of a long history of using tan yourself, don't you? And also just being in that, how do you describe it? Just being a personal user, I guess. You know, it was something that you did for yourself and your sisters did, and you guys always loved before you even got into that, wasn't it?
So my mum has taught us from we were very, very little that you get up in the morning, you put your makeup on, no matter how you're feeling, you always put your makeup on and you will look better, and that will make you feel a little bit better, and always have that sort of face when you're facing the outside world. So from a very early age, we were always invested in skincare. And as we got older, then we got more into tanning. And what I love about tanning is and especially these last 2 years when we've all found it very challenging being stuck at home, and having the whole ritual of your tan, doing your skincare, putting your tan on, and how quick and easy it is just to give you that instant glow. And it really does lift your mood. And dare I say, it makes you look a little bit better. Well, it makes you look a lot better, and it makes you look skinnier. I'm a child of the 80s, so this was always something that I aspired to be, is a little bit better than what I am. And so tan, it just can instantly change your mood. And I know that does sound a little bit frivolous, but it is so true, and no more so than when we were in lockdown. I did an awful lot of social media teaching people how to apply their tan, and the response I got from it was overwhelming. They weren't putting makeup on, but they loved the tanning routine, and just having that little bit of a glow when they were on Zoom calls really did make such a difference.
Here, I did it as well. Like whenever we were in lockdown here, I would have epilated my entire body, given myself, a manicure and a pedicure. I would have then scrubbed and prepped my skin and done my Lusso Tan ritual, which we're going to talk about in a wee minute. And then I would have, put on like a lovely, cashmere sweater and a pair of skinny black jeans and came downstairs, blow dried my hair, and then had a bottle of champagne with my husband, like he was the only person who was going to be seeing me. But even just sitting there feeling, and you're right, I felt, here I am sipping champagne, bronzed in my cashmere with my hair blow dried. Like I didn't have to leave the house to feel good. It really, just the act of doing it made me feel so much better about myself. So I wholeheartedly agree. I don't think that there's ever a need to justify, anyone should ever have to justify self-care. I think that it's just something that women love. It's something that women do. I know people love to judge the beauty industry and be like, oh, that's $1 billion industry. And I remember hearing someone say once, oh, if women just learned to love themselves, a whole industry would collapse. And I remember being like, I love myself. Like I am so full of myself. It's unbelievable. Like I certainly am not like filled with self-doubt, or obviously at times I do, obviously, but I can genuinely say I like myself. I love myself as who I am. I'm very self-confident, but I get Botox and fillers and tan and epilate and dye my hair. And I just think that, you can improve what you've got. And they always say in Mexico, have you ever heard the saying in Mexico, there are no rich women, there are no ugly women, only poor ones.
Yeah, and that's such a true saying.
It's so true.
It's so true. But you're right, Kim, you're 100% right. And we shouldn't have to justify ourselves. Self-care to me does make me feel that much better. And it's something that I actually do with my children now as well. I teach them how to do their skincare routine. Mm-hmm. And there's never too early an age to start on a skincare routine. And for me, the basis of a good tan starts with skincare.
Yeah. So talk us through this. So this is what I really want to get into. So I know there's loads. So imagine, I was going to say, I know there's loads of people listening to this who are tanning virgins, right? So what I want to do is I want you to give us like a wee mini masterclass on the perfect way to tan, or because I know that Lusso Tan, and feel free to do like a shameless Lusso Tan plug. Okay. Like, and I know that you guys have an entire ritual. It's like, is that Lego on your table? I'm like,
it's the kids' rubbers off the end of their pencils. I can't stop playing with it.
I just like, I don't know, you turn the camera around. I was like, whenever you're a mom and you're like sitting in a coffee shop and you're like rummaging in your bag for your keys and you're pulling out, baby wipes and rattles and, and pacifiers and all kinds of stuff. You're like, I'm sure my keys are in here somewhere, and all this shit of the day is coming out of your purse. So
it's fidget toys for me now.
What is it now?
Fidget toys. The kids, are your kids into that? My kids are really into fidget toys. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, yes, I think probably. I don't know. It's a new trend every day. Right. So here's what I want. Loads of people who listen to this podcast are virgin tanners. Okay. Or maybe they've just had like a bit of a brush with self tan, and they have come out with like orange fingers and and dark elbows and streaks, and it hasn't looked good. Can you talk us through the perfect prep ritual and do a shameless plug for all your Lusso Tan stuff? Because I'm a big fan of Lusso Tan, as you know, and it really is the best system that I have ever come across. So Lynsey, the floor is over to you. I'm a tanning virgin. Teach me how to do it from start to finish.
Okay, so your first step is skincare, and you really must prep your skin. And that goes for anything that you're doing. If you're putting on your makeup, you must prep your skin as well. So prep your skin. If you have tan on before, you need to take that off. And this is such an important stage, especially for those people that do tan every week. You have got to take your tan off beforehand. So
why? Why do you have to take it off?
Because if you don't take it off, your skin, the tan, if you're putting tan on top of tan, it's going to look really scaly. It's going to look very patchy. It can discolor. It can go darker in places, lighter in places. And it just does not look good at all. And a lot of people will say, you know, I applied tan and my skin went scaly. And it's because you're not doing that first step prep. So you absolutely must do your first step prep. If you have tan on, Lusso Tan are the only company that I know of that we launched Lusso Tan bath bomb in 2019, and literally overnight it went viral. It went all around the world, and that is because as much as people find it difficult to tan, they find it even more difficult taking tans off. Mm-hmm. So with the Lusso Tan bath bomb, you have got essential oils in there. You have got really lovely like shea butter in it, and you just pop it into the bath and it's going to melt your tan off. But it's also going to really soften your skin and hydrate your skin. And tan really loves hydrated skin. That's when you have your best tan, when your skin is hydrated. So once you're...
Lynsey, I put it in my bath even when I'm not wearing tan.
Yes. Well, one of the reasons why we launched the Lusso Tan bath bomb was because I was totally stressed out, and the girls in work were saying to me, "Get a bath with a bath bomb," and I was lying in the bath, and I thought, "Wow, imagine if this soaked my tan off at the same time." And that was it. The idea was born, and as I said, like the first week, we sold 10,000 of these bath bombs, and we had zero PR spend. We just sent a press release to our local paper, and we now ship to America, New Zealand, Canada. It's just, it was just such a huge success. But we had worked really, really hard in the 2 years prior to that. Mm-hmm. And I know if you're just starting a company and you go viral, it can be one of the worst things that can happen to you because you don't have the back office to support it. But because we had done so much in the 2 years before that, it was such a joy to see the brand lifted to those heights. So once you have all of your tan off, I love to use an exfoliating mitt in the bath as well, really slough away the dead skin cells. If you're not using the bath bomb and you're in the shower, again, use a bamboo. Bamboo mitt is my favorite kind of mitt to use. And we have a great one on the Lusso Tan website, double-sided, hypoallergenic, and you just slough away all of the dead skin cells. Again, a very, very, very important part of the self-tan process, because if you don't do that, your skin can go scaly, your skin can go mottly, the tan won't last as well because your skin will shed throughout the week. So that is a very, very important part, making sure all prior tan is off first, but doing that exfoliation to really smooth out the skin and just to get rid of dead skin cells.
See, I love specifics, right? I'm really like get to the specifics. So I'm in the bath and I'm soaking in the bathtub. Do I soak in there for like 5-10 minutes first to soften the skin?
Yeah, just 10 minutes and you will literally see the tan melting off. You will see a ring around your bath of self-tan. And just when you're there, have your little mitt and start exfoliating your skin.
In the water? Just like
in the water.
Scrub and just get all the dead skin cells off.
And remember places like the back of the knees, underarms, your elbows, anywhere you have dry skin as well. So ankles is another place that you need to use exfoliating mitt, but make sure that you're doing it all over your body. And I do it on my neck as well, the back of my neck, behind my ears. Mm-hmm. Behind your ears is another place that people forget, even in their cleansing process, they forget to do. So the back of the ears as well. And that will give you a really nice canvas then for applying the tan. But there's another step that you must do when tanning. When you're in the bath with the bath bomb, or you're in the shower with shower gel or soaps, they can coat your skin. And tan does not like other products. It can react very badly to another product. And I know we've talked about this before, where you've been for a spray tan and you've got green underneath your underneath your armpits, and that's because you may have some deodorant on there. It could just be human sweat in there, whatever. But tan does not like anything else on the skin, and it's this process that will give you a really radiant glow. And it's a lot of the time people just skip this out. And then they blame the tanning products, or they blame how they're applying. And it's not. It's so important to have this prep beforehand. Once you're out of the bath, once you're out of the shower, Lusso Tan have an incredible product called Lusso Tan Primer. This is now a cult product. When I was formulating this back when we just launched Lusso Tan, when we were doing customer research on it, they were like, a primer? What do you want a primer for? But I knew that this was going to be one of our best-selling products, and it absolutely is. Primer is so multifunctional. What it does, once you come out of the bath and the shower, you want to neutralize anything that's on your skin. So any of the products that you've been using in the bath or the shower, a quick mist with primer, and it's going to rebalance the pH, neutralize anything that's on the skin. It's going to hydrate the skin. And you must have hydrated skin when you're applying tan. Why must you have hydrated skin? Because if you don't, tan can stick to certain areas. Tan can look flaky on your skin. Tan can cling to where you have dry skin on elbows, knees, ankles, even the face as well. Mm-hmm. So you must keep your skin hydrated. If you don't keep your skin hydrated, you're going to notice an awful lot of fine lines and wrinkles. And not even just in your 40s. When you're in your 30s, you will start seeing this. To me, prevention is always better than cure. So start your skin care process as early as possible. And remember, it's not just your face. People are always looking after your face. And you and I are great lovers of Botox, a little pull here and there, anything to enhance visage. But we forget that actually, once you do get into your 40s, especially your mid 40s, it's your neck and your chest. They're the real giveaways of the aging process. So do start as early as you possibly can. A really good body care routine as well as a face routine. Every morning when I wake, my skin looks really thirsty, dehydrated. And then when I look in the mirror, the first thing I reach for is my primer, and I mist. And that instantly adds hydration to my chest where I have fine lines and wrinkles, and it plumps it up. And I do that twice a day. I do that as part of my morning and my evening routine, whether I am tanning or not tanning. So once you've cleansed, once you've primed the skin, you have that perfect canvas to apply tan. This sounds like a really long process, but it's so not.
No, and especially because and it's just a mister. It's just like like you're just misting yourself all over, You're
just misting it over. Witch hazel in there, which is going to cleanse the skin. Hyaluronic acid in there, which means it's going to hold on to any moisture that you're putting into the body as well. Mm-hmm. There's vitamins A and E, vitamins A, which is retinol. So really, really good anti-aging ingredients in our primer, and you can use it on the face or you can use it on the body. And I really encourage people to use it every morning.
For every morning now. For a tan, I'm going to keep it beside my sink, and I'm going to mist myself in the morning.
And keep it beside your desk as well, because especially at this time of year when we've got the heating on, your skin becomes very dehydrated during the day. So a quick mist, or once you apply your makeup, a quick mist over your makeup as well. I like that dewy look to your skin rather than a really heavy makeup-y kind of look. And again, as you get older, I think that's very important to keep your makeup very dewy rather than that sort of Instagram look.
I'm going to put it in my handbag and take it with me now everywhere I go. Really like just sitting in restaurants, like misting myself. I genuinely did not know that. This is great. Like, I love learning new stuff. I'm a big fan of the products and I use them all the time, but that is great to know about the primer. So it's not just primer for before your tan. It is a hydrator. Basically, it's a skin hydrator.
It is. And that's why it's become such a cult product with us. And another amazing benefit to the product is if you shave a lot, you may find that you have very open pores. And when you put tan on, it can look spotty. Yes. If you've ever seen that spotty effect, you want to close the pores after showering or bathing. So if you have primer and you keep it in the fridge, there's lactic acid in it. And the lactic acid will close the pores. So you mist it all over your legs. And that's really going to close the pores. So it totally eradicates that spotty effect that some people have when applying tan.
Amazing. Okay, so I am scrubbed. I am primed. What's the next step?
Now you're ready to tan. So this is my favorite part, because this is when you instantly see that golden glow and it's an instant change. Lusso Tan Rapid Tan Mousse is by far my favorite product. And I know I shouldn't have favorites. I don't like the others to get jealous, but it is just so easy to use. It has a dark eye color, which means it's foolproof for beginners. Mm-hmm. The dark eye color means you can see exactly where you're putting it on. It's instantly dry. So if, like me, I like to tan in the morning. So I just like to do my prep and then tan and then go to work. Mm-hmm. So it's instantly dry. You can put your clothes on straight away. There's no smell to it, which means when you're sitting in the office, people aren't going to be looking at you and asking where that smell's coming from. So it is just by far my favorite product. But if you're the kind of, so with Rapid Tan Mousse, if you leave it on for 1 hour and then shower off, you'll have a light tan, 2 hours for a medium and 3 hours for a dark, or you can leave it on all day. It's not going to go super, super dark. But if you prefer, and you prefer to say, well, I'm a medium, you can actually buy the tan in a medium as well. So it's personal preference. Rapid Tan Mousse was our first mousse that we ever introduced, and that's why it's sort of like my baby. I love it so much. I always recommend when tanning, you stand in front of a mirror. Always use a mitt. If you're using a tan with a guide color, use a mitt, and you must use a clean mitt. Yeah. So once you have the tanning application done, make sure that you're rinsing your mitt under lukewarm water and just put it under the radiator. Or as what I do, I tan, then I put my mitt into the shower, which means when I'm washing off my guide color, I wash my mitt at the same time.
Oh, that's
and then I pop it onto the radiator. Yeah, because you've got tan on your hands.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put your hands into water after you've tanned.
Well, here,
always
2 mitts. I use one on each hand. Is that okay?
Oh, you're a fancy.
I'm like a double mitt. And the Lusso Tan one is really soft and velvety. It's not. It doesn't like come off. It's not like just like one round, shape that you stick your hand up into that's all sweaty on the back that constantly comes off your hand. It's like a proper glove. Like my husband tans my back all the time, and I have to like hold it so he can like shove his hand in, and his hand coming out. Like whenever I have to pull it off him whenever it's time to come, so it doesn't come off. And I put one on each hand, so then I can just pump my mousse, and then I just
and then off you go.
Yeah, do one leg at the same time. You don't have to like switch hands, with the mitts to do each hand. So that's my tip for the day. Kim's top tip for the day. One mitt on each hand.
One mitt. I love it. I'm actually usually holding my phone in the other hand, tanning on one hand and using my phone to do
Story of my life.
Yeah. Always start the tanning process from the ankle, and you want to work your way up. So you put it on at your ankle, you do the first half of your leg, do the front and the back, and then you give another pump and you do the top half of your leg. I always start it on my left leg and then I work to my right. And when you have that rhythm going, you will never miss a spot, and especially if you're looking in a mirror. So one leg, the other leg.
Can you ever put too much on? Like, the guide color, sometimes, people be like, oh my God, it's so dark. And like, that's just the guide color. That's the tan is going to
just the guide color. Exactly. It's going to wash off.
Or can your skin only absorb so much?
You can put too much on. I always say 2 generous pumps and don't put any more on than that. When I say that you can put too much on, I love a dark tan, so it's never too much for me. But you don't do it twice. You put the tan on and leave it. You don't need to go over it because it will go darker over a matter of hours. Okay. So once it's applied, if you're applying again, you're just wasting the product because it's not going to go that much darker.
Okay.
And that's what you don't want to do. So once you have the legs done, I like to then start on my tummy, and I will get in the mitt, and I can do the complete lower half of my back just by because the mitt's double-sided.
I put it here, so I put a pump on the back of my hand, and then I on my knuckle side, and then I do the bottom of my back with my knuckle side. But here, how the hell do you do the top of your back? I know I have my own methods, including I think I sent you a picture once of me. I got and I had one of those long dry bristle, the bristled brushes that with like the long handle on it you would use in the shower, and I put my mitt over the top of it and secured it with like a hair bobble at the bottom of it, and then I was like tanning my back like this with the spongy side, and you were like, that's genius. But
you are so inventive, Kim. There's never a day when I do not get a nugget of wisdom from you. As crazy as it can sound sometimes, there's always something in there, Kim Constable. It amazes me. I tell everybody the best way to tan your back is to get someone else to do it for you. It really is. I've yet to find anything that is perfect. I'm such a perfectionist. If you live in your own, then you've just got to be a contortionist and try your best, or try the Kim Constable putting it onto a kitchen utensil and doing what you can.
I told you recently, do you know what my new favorite thing is? A radiator roller. a radiator roller. And I was saying to Lynsey, you should develop this as a product. This is like your next product, a radiator roller. So, like a paint roller that you would do now in behind the backs of radiators with. So it's a tiny little roller. That's what I now use to tan my back. If there's no one here, I just pump it on and I just roll my back with a radiator roller. Lynsey, you have to try it. It is genius.
I do. I haven't tried it yet, but you know what? I'm actually going to definitely do it this weekend.
I'm going to
come on next year
for you and drop it into your with a big bowl around it.
This time next year, we'll come back and you'll say, do you remember I told you about that? How much of the royalties am I getting for that, Lynsey?
I know, exactly. I'll be like, I want shares in the company now. Yeah, so you just have to get someone to tan your back or just be innovative like I did with something long. And what I do whenever I tan my back is I just make sure I try and get, as you say, as much of it as possible, backs to shoulders, lower back, mid back, whatever. And then just the middle part that I can't reach, I just put a big blob on whatever long utensil I have or my roller and I just do the middle part. And I find that because the tan goes on so evenly, it doesn't even matter if you've overlapped a wee bit, or sometimes even if the guide color doesn't look perfect, once you wash that off, your tan just absorbs into your skin and it's beautiful underneath.
Exactly. I have never, ever, ever had an instance where I have over applied. And regardless of whether I'm an expert on it or not, I've never had incidents where I have over applied or made a mistake which couldn't be corrected.
Yeah.
And I think it's knowing how to correct it that is key to a really good tan, because we're only human. And sometimes I will be applying a tan, trying to record it, trying to referee my 2 children killing themselves, and trying to keep my husband from trying to kill them because they're killing each other. So
yes, all of them applying tan.
Yeah, an exaggeration. My husband wouldn't kill the children. So once you have the back done, you want to do your arms and your chest all at the same time, making sure you're lifting your arm up and really getting down into the armpits, taking it down to the sides of your body as well. And once you have that, again, it's very, very easy to do. You can see the tan going on. The tan glides onto the skin, but that leaves you with your feet, your hands, and your face. And for feet and hands and face, I don't use the mitt. I always use a tanning brush. If I'm using mousse, I will use the flathead Lusso Tan brush. One little pump.
No, we need to reverse and talk about that because people are like, hang on. Tanning brush? What is she talking about? What, the tanning brush? Okay, so tell us about the tanning brushes that are part of the...
What I love about tanning, and the reason why we brought out the tanning brush is because if people have a bad tan, it's usually on their hands and their feet. I do an awful lot of events where I am standing in an event and people are coming up to me to ask for tips, and they come up to me with their flip-flops and sandals on, and I look at their feet and I'm like, oh my gosh, how can you bear to go out like that? I would absolutely die. Yeah. It is my mission in life to educate the women of Ireland on how to tan their feet and their hands, because it's so brush, easy to get it right.
The tanning brush, it looks like a blusher brush, like a powder brush.
It looks like a little brush. It looks like a makeup. There's a small makeup brush. The bristles are packed really, really tightly, so much more tightly than you would a makeup brush. And that is for the tan to sit on the top of it. So for feet, it's just a tiny little pump, and you do the top of your feet first. You don't go to the edges of your feet because the sun doesn't hit there naturally. Feet, hands, and face, less is more. Right. You do not need to over tan, and that's why I don't like using the mitt, because you don't know how much product is on the mitt, and you also don't have the same kind of control as you would have with the brush. You start in the middle of the foot and work your way to the toes because you want to have less product on the toes. Lightly brush over both ankles, again, places where tan will really cling to because they're usually dry. Do not tan your heels. The sun does not hit there naturally. And once you tan the heels, they turn bright orange no matter what product you're using. So keep away from the heels, keep away from the sides of the feet. Sorry, I should have said add primer again to feet before you tan. That's a really good barrier. Because you want less product on the feet and the hands, a really good mist into the hand, rub it all over your hands, the palms of your hands, and also the backs of your hands. Use the same brush, start on the back of your hand. And the reason we start on the back of the hand, the way we start on the back of the feet is if you have too much product on the brush, you can work it into your wrist area rather than work it over the fingers.
And you're really buffing, Lindsay, aren't you? Like I use
You're
the brush
really,
all the time, and I
really
put
buffing.
my hand in like a claw. Now, anyone on
Yes.
YouTube obviously can see this, but people listening to the podcast can't. So I outstretch my fingers like a claw with my knuckles slightly bent, and and it's a stubby brush. If I can explain it to anyone who's thinking about it, it's like it doesn't have like a long. It looks like a big powder brush, but it's really tightly packed, almost like something like a huge big foundation brush. And it's flat on the top. There's also a round one, you put a little bit of product on it, and then you literally buff it really, really, vigorously onto the hand, just spreading the product, and then you can buff it lightly down your fingers, and it just gives the best coverage. Like I've tried to put tan on my hands with a mitt, and you're like, oh my God, and your knuckles, like it's awful on your face, and then you look really mucky. And you look muckier and muckier as the day goes on. Whereas with the brush, you just give yourself this glow with it. And you just end up just glowing at the end of it. It is spectacular. I mean, it is literally a game changer when it comes to tan. And once you have used a brush on your face and on your hands and on your feet to apply tan, you will never go back. You will wonder why you didn't know to do it before. I don't know anyone else that's doing it either. I don't know any other self-tan companies that are, I mean, you may, but I certainly have never seen it.
Well, the reason all of these ideas come to me because I am obsessed with tanning. I love it. I use the product I use the products every day, but I tan once a week. And I'm also in an environment where I'm constantly getting customer feedback because with our salons, and I must say my finger's always on the pulse when it comes to new innovative products, and we're such market leaders. We were the first person to bring out the bath bomb. We were the first person to bring out a primer. We were the first company I know to bring out the tanning brushes. And it's so important to me to always keep ahead of the game in that. And the reason we bring out these products is because it elevates your tan. It makes life easier for you. It gives you a more glowing tan. It's just to benefit our consumers. And to make the process itself so much more enjoyable and easier. Anything that I can do, have a shortcut on in life is always for me. With the hands, again, it's so important that you're not over tanning. When I say over tanning, you're not going down into between the hands because the sun doesn't hit there naturally. And the side of your hands as well, the sun doesn't hit there naturally. So you want less, as I said, less is more. And my goal is always to look as if I have a real suntan. I don't want people to think, oh, wow, she's wearing a lot of sunless tan. I want people to look at me and think, wow, what a radiant sunny tan that she has. So that's really, really, really important to me.
I use the cream on my face. So I use the Rapid Mousse on my body, and then I use the medium cream on my face. I just use a wee tiny bit of on the brush, and that's what I use usually on my face and my hands and my feet. So I actually switched to a different product and a slightly lighter tan to do my face. And I find that the cream tan on the face, because you obviously do have bottles, we haven't talked about it, but you have other, lighter, medium and darker tans, which are more of a cream formula, or liquid cream. I don't know how you would. What would you
lotion?
Lotion.
You call it like a lotion. Yeah.
Bastardized cream. It's a lotion. So a lotion, which I find actually just goes on, like a really beautiful dewy foundation whenever you put it on your face. I have to say the mousse does work really well as well. So you don't really need to buy two products, but I'm a little crazy that way, and I do. So anyway, that was just I'm just interjecting my tuppence worth into it. So I've tanned my hands. And I've tanned. What about my face? How do I buff my face? Same brush?
So for the face, make sure you put your primer on again and let the primer really sink into the skin. You want to get all the benefits from the primer as well. When you're putting, facial tan, what I will use for my face is the Golden Glow Mist. Now, the reason I like this for my face in particular is one, that it's specially formulated for the face. Like all of the Lusso Tan products, it is specially developed for sensitive skin. It's not going to break you out in spots. No. It is not going to clog your pores. It's not going to give you that spotty effect that some people can get in their chin area, their nose area. And that's because with the Golden Glow, there's no guide color to it at all. So you use a different brush for the mist on the face. And you use our fluffy brush, whereas the hand and feet brush is a flat surface. This is a real fluffy surface to it. So it's a couple of mists onto the brush. What I must stress is when you're applying tan to your skin, Kim, your skin's going to take a different reaction than my skin. My skin's going to take a different reaction than my sister's skin or my friend's skin. You have got to try and test all of these things and see what works well for you. With the Golden Glow Mist, I get a good 4 spritz onto the brush, and I will apply all over my face. And then I will give another little mist onto the brush, and I will contour. So I'll take it over my cheekbones, and I'll bring it up over my forehead, down under my chin, and just really contour those areas. And that's going to give me a contour for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Now, if you have not used the product before, do not mist 4 mists onto the brush. Start with 1 and start building it over the days.
I just mist
because
onto my face, Lynsey. I just
you absolutely can. For me, I just like to put it on the brush first, and then I know exactly where I'm putting it. Don't forget to tan underneath your chin and your ears. 2 giveaway spots when you're tanning.
Here, can I tell you a funny story about the hand and face mist? Because you can spray the hand mist. It's hand and face mist. You can spray it on your hands.
Yes.
I mean, game changer, right? Absolutely. Whenever I saw the hand and the face mist, I was like, what a game changer, because everyone's hands are always horrendous whenever they tan. But there was one day I looked at my husband, and this was during lockdown. I think I've told you this story, but I'll tell it now in the podcast. So I looked at my husband and I was like, you're looking very brown these days. And I said, Jim, why are you so brown? I just noticed he was one day I just looked down and I thought, God, he looks so handsome today. And then the next day I thought, wow, he really does. Like, he's a good looking man, my husband. And then the next day I was like, you're just brown. I think that's what it is. Why are you so brown? He goes, oh, I was using that mist stuff that, it's in the bathroom. And I went, my Lusso Tan hand and face mist. And he goes, yeah, he was using it. And I said, but Ryan, your whole body is brown. It wasn't just his face, Lynsey, was brown, his chest and his shoulders and his arms. And he goes, yeah, I was just spraying it over myself in the morning. And I was like, Ryan, that's extremely expensive. It's not supposed to be for your entire body. If you want me to tan you, I said, I'll use the Lusso Tan to tan you. And he goes, no, it's okay. I really like that stuff, because he really feels like, he doesn't want me to like imagine be like cutting off his balls if I actually stood there and tanned the man, like a woman tans. But he's perfectly, it's like he can pretend he's not really tanning, but he's just misting himself with something in the air. So I went in and literally there was like 5 millimeters of the bottle left. He'd used in like the course of a week, the entire bottle. And I had to go online and buy 4 more of them. And I swear to God, he was going through a bottle a week. I was like, Ryan, you have to stop doing this. He was like spraying his back and his shoulders and his arms. And he still does it in the summer now whenever he wants a little bit more of a tan, but he doesn't want to really feel like he's tanning. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he bloody well is. But here, so could you please bring out a tan for men that is like clear, that is just like, and just call it men's mist or something? Men's
mist. Again, here we go.
Product development. And just call it a hydration mist or something. Men's hydration, post-shower hydration mist, and then just put a wee bit of fake tan in it. Because he uses fake tan as well. He uses the Dove tan, but he doesn't want to admit that he does. So he uses the one the gradual tan. And sometimes he comes in and I'm like, you're looking awfully brown. And then he says to me, oh yeah, I use some of that Dove, with the gradual tanner. I was like, there's a market for men who aren't gay, who want to use tan. I'm telling you.
Kim Constable, tell you nothing. The whole world now knows. I'm like, Chef Lee and your husband.
He wouldn't care. I always wind Lee up about it, and I always say to him, I ain't going to get your tan on this week. You're going to be a bit browner, are you? But he wouldn't give a shit. Neither would Ryan, actually. Listen, this whole and thank God Ryan never listens to my podcast, because the stories I tell about that man are shocking. And I always think, I wonder if he actually listened to this one day. He would be horrified if he knew what the world knows about him. But sorry, go on. So I was in.
Yeah. So again, it's great. And the reason why I prefer a no guide color on the face is because when you do have a guide color, which you have in the mousse or the lotions, it just doesn't give you the same kind of glow on your face.
No.
Without a guide color, it's a much more radiant, natural glow to the face.
I think
yes, it definitely can do. And what's great about the mist is, just as you had mentioned, you can, during the week, you can just give yourself a little mist to top up on your hands, on your face. Right. I cleanse so much that my tan comes off my face very quickly. And that is the reason why we literally have, just last week, we launched cleansing pads.
Ooh.
So my background, as you know, is in skincare, and I love to double cleanse every night. But what I hate about double cleansing is the chore of it. Yeah. You're going up and putting the water on your face, so dripping down your arms. It's all over the bathroom floor. The cleansing pads that we have just introduced, you don't need any product with it at all. You simply put them under the tap, give a squeeze, and take your makeup off in one go. Turn it over and do your double cleanse. But the great thing is, because you're not putting any product on your skin, you're just using the pad. It doesn't take your tan off. So it will take all of your makeup off, but it will leave your tan underneath.
Amazing. Wow. Yeah, because I'm the same. That's why I love the mist, because I can just use it every day. I can just take it out and just give my spritz with it in the morning. And it doesn't even stain your clothes. Sometimes, like, I've been wearing something white, like a white t-shirt or something, and I've then sprayed my face and I'm like, oh shit, is my t-shirt going to be like tanned? And it's not. Mm-hmm. It doesn't never develops or stains your clothes, which is amazing. I find.
And that's why gym goers love Lusso Tan so much, because it's instantly dry. It's not going to come off on your clothes, and you really are getting 5 to 7 days out of it. I have used tans in the market, and I still use different tans, because I'm always looking at other tans to see how we can improve. And then what I love actually is that I think to myself, wow, we've got the best tan on the market.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. But it really, if you put tan on, you're going to get a full week out of it, except for maybe the hands and the face where you're constantly washing. And gym goers just love our tan. There's no smell. So when you're training and you're sweating, you're not going to have that fake tan smell either.
Okay, we're rapidly running out of time. So I want to talk with them. There's a couple more things I want to talk about specifically, but I want you to tell us quickly. So after we have tanned, you do have 2 other products, which I absolutely adore as well, which are the after tanning. I can never really remember the name.
Skin Perfector.
Skin Perfector.
So once you wash your guide color off, and these products are more for if you're going out at night, if you're going on holiday, they're not to wear to the office. If you're in competitions as well.
Yes, I always wore the Skin Perfector whenever I was standing on stage, because it liked when it hit it's just really it hit all my muscles in the right place. So it give me shadows in places where it was supposed to be shadow, and give me light in places to make my muscles stand out and look bigger, which is what I love about it.
So tan will have a matte base to it, but with a Skin Perfector, which is a skin finisher, it's an instant tan with a hint of makeup. So if you have any imperfections on your skin, if you have broken veins, I have a lot of red veins in my legs I got during pregnancy, it's going to cover that. Mm-hmm. If you have any scarring, it's going to cover that, but it has a real luminosity to it. So it elevates the tan to a completely new level. You don't need to put it all over your legs. You can maybe just use it on the shin bones, the middle of the leg, to elongate your legs. You can use it on your shoulders. I personally love to put it all over my legs. I think it just completely transforms your tan. And your tan looks so awesome before you have this product on. And then you put it on, you're like, wow, this is taking me to a completely new level.
I use a mitt.
No, I use the flat-headed brush.
Oh, right, okay. I use a mitt.
I use the flat-headed brush. And it just gives you more control on where you're putting it, because you don't have to have it as precise as the tan, right. Because you're putting it on top of a tan. You can use it on its own, but for best results, use it on top of your tan. So it's a skin finisher that you use on top of your tan. And then we have the most amazing Shimmer, and it just comes in a little container. You only ever have to buy this once in your life.
Yes,
there's so much in it.
Like 4 years ago or something.
And it goes such a long way. So with the fluffy brush, you dip the fluffy brush into your shimmer. Yeah, and the littlest bit on your shoulders, your collarbones, the middle of your legs. Use it as eyeshadow. You can use a little bit on your cheeks in summer as well. And you are just going to glisten and glow as if you've just come off a yacht, cruising around the med. Yeah, gorgeous.
My delts, actually, whenever I do my lives in the office, if I ever do, if we're running like a 5-day challenge or something, I usually wear like a vest top like this, like a tank top kind of thing, and I always tan, and then I always put it on my delts on the top, and they always just glow and shine. I put it across, across my chest, across my collarbone. It just makes you look gorgeous. And of course, whenever you put it on, you're just like, oh, I feel amazing. Yes. You just feel absolutely amazing. Here I have So I have a couple of questions for you. So is that the end of the tanning ritual?
So that's you tan from top to toe. Yeah, you're ready for
anything?
The red carpet. You're ready for anything, really. Yes. So tanning is not just for special occasions. Personally, I tan every week, and I don't understand people that don't do it because, as we've said, it really lifts your mood and makes you look better. It makes you look a little bit skinnier, and it really does.
You're always ready.
That's what I love. You're always ready for exactly for every occasion. Yes,
yeah, that's what I like too. Because years ago, before I used to keep myself continually, like I get eyelashes. Obviously I have permanent tattoos on my lips and my eyebrows, and I'm always tanned. I always have my nails done. I always have a pedicure. And I do that because it means that if you're going out on the weekend, you're kind of ready at the drop of a hat. You're not like, oh my God, I have to go and get waxed, I have to get tanned, I have to get this, I have to get that. Of course, I usually do get a spray tan because Lusso do spray tans as well, don't you? And, obviously mostly in Northern Ireland, probably in salons. But you are expanding globally, and you can choose between light, medium, dark, and extra dark. And I'm always like, just give me a double coat of extra dark. I'm like, in my big fat gypsy wedding, I just want to be as dark as possible. So, but that is the question that I have, because here's the thing. So a lot of women are going to be listening to this or entering the butt camp competition, which starts, by the way, on October 11th, 2021. And at the end of 8 weeks, they are going to be taking their after photos. And we always recommend they get a tan and they do their hair and their makeup and they make themselves look as amazing as possible. Now, I personally always do a double tan for photos, because I think whenever you're taking photos, especially when there's a lot of light hitting you, you have to be as dark as possible. So if someone was going to get a double tan, how long would they wait between tans, or would they do the same ritual each time? How would that work?
So 24 hours. You make sure you have no tan on, make sure you've done a really good exfoliation, make sure you're priming, put your tan on, sleep in it overnight, wash off the guide color, and then you can put it on again. As soon as you have washed off that guide color, the trick is to wash off the guide color first. Okay. If you're not washing off the guide color first, you're just wasting product. Your tan's not going to go any darker. Once the guide color is washed off, then reapply the tan.
Okay, and just do it the same way. It's obviously easier the second time because you're already bronzed, so there's not as much room for error, kind of thing. But and that does make you. And I would do that quite a lot, especially if I'm going out. I would do a double tan because I like to be super brown, and you don't end up orange. Well, I certainly never end up orange. It's a really
you don't. Color. The trick is not to leave it more than the 24 hours, though, because if you're leaving it more than 24 hours, you may find that the first tan has got to, you've maybe had 2 or 3 showers in between that. So maybe it's not as dark as it was originally. So you need to put it on after the 24 hours.
Right. Okay. Amazing. And then obviously for anyone who is entering the butt camp competition and wants to make themselves look amazing afterwards, this whole tanning ritual really is going to make you look phenomenal, but also it's going to make your muscles stand out. It's going to make you look skinnier or leaner, as we like to say in the bodybuilding world. And also the skin perfector and even that little glow, like it's amazing.
Shimmer, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, the shimmer is amazing. So what I do as well, like Lynsey was saying, she contours her face whenever she's doing the spray, the hand and body mist, or the hand and face mist. I actually like to contour quite often some muscles. So here's another little tip that I do. I get if I only ever put on one layer of tan, I then get the flat tanning brush, and I'll put some tan on it. And then I will like sweep around my calf muscles, and I'll sweep down my quads, lines in my quads, and I'll give myself, and around my delts and stuff at the top here. So I will actually contour muscles and sometimes give myself abs. And it just goes a little bit darker in those areas, which just gives you a little bit more shadow, which just makes you look amazing. Now it does take a little bit of practice, obviously, if you're not used to it, but I used to like study muscles in girls, on pictures. And then I used to be like, okay, if I had a quad muscle, where would it be? And then I would have, or just looked at my quad muscle and I would have contoured around it. So there's so many kind of fun things that you can do with tan just to make yourself look and feel just a little bit better. So we would absolutely recommend that anyone who's entering the butt camp competition does do their tan properly. Honestly, we've had so many bad tan photos submitted. You have no idea. It's like sometimes we look at the photos and we're like, I just look and I go, why would anybody put this photo in?
Well, that's another thing that we touched on a little bit earlier. If you apply tan, you get up the next day and you look at your feet, you look at your hands, you're like, oh my gosh, I've just applied way too much to those areas. Get in the shower, get your bamboo mitt, and start just buffing it in. And I guarantee you that within a couple of minutes, you're able to buff it away enough that it looks perfect.
With no product, bamboo mitt.
Yeah. Just a bamboo mitt and just start buffing away, especially if you have it on the heels. Now, if you get it onto the soles of your feet,
I find
it's extremely difficult to take off. But if you have our bath bomb and rub the bath bomb onto the soles of the feet, it will take it off. And the reason I'm saying this is for brides. I've seen this happen with brides before, and they're wearing open toe shoes and they've got the tan on the bottom of their feet, and you just know the photographer is going to get these badly tan feet. I don't know why a photographer would taking pictures of feet anyway, but you will always get that. And I can see the tan and it drives me bananas because it's really, really difficult to get off the soles of your feet and the palms of your hand. But if you have the bath bomb, or we have a shower bar as well, Tan the Gun shower bar, which will take off all your tan in the shower. It's 100% organic. It's all oil-based with a sugar exfoliant in it. You can rub that on the palms of your hands or rub it onto the soles of your feet, and that's going to really take that off.
I've seen you using it with the toothbrush before. And
with the toothbrush, that's right, for small areas.
And that kind of stuff. So it's amazing to know that if you do have a tanning disaster, that obviously Lusso Tan have a product to help you to take it off. And I've seen people doing that with the bath bomb too, just like cutting off a wee chunk of the bath bomb and just putting it in a bit of water, and then using that to scrub the feet or scrub the you do have to work at it. Like, it doesn't just dissolve instantly, you have to work it in a wee bit, but you can kind of avert any tanning disaster, really, can't you?
You can. There's really no need to submit photographs to you with bad tans.
Not when there's $20,000 on the line, It's
exactly.
Like, come on, the best you can do is, or the least you can do, is like, at least, put in a wee bit of effort with your tan. Lynsey, I cannot believe I'm like glancing at the clock here, and we've been talking for a full hour, which is amazing. And I could talk to you all day, but I'll tell you what I want to finish with. Where can people, do you sell Lusso Tan in America? Because that's my biggest audience.
No, we don't sell it in America, but we do ship globally. So you get it at www.lussotan.com. LUSSOTAN.com. We're going to link to everything in the show notes. So underneath, wherever you're listening to this podcast, go to the text underneath. You'll be able to link directly to Lusso Tan. Go to the website, browse the products. Do you have any kind of special offers or discounts? Yes, we have our Kim Constable exclusive 35% discount.
35%? Are you crazy?
It's the, isn't it, SV35?
I don't know. No one told me.
Yes. Skeleton vegan. So 35.
SV35.
We never do a discount this big, but I know that you have so many listeners in America, and this is a real introduction to the product for them. So we thought, you're always so generous to us, inviting me on here today. I'm in Kim's masterclass, which is
my platinum mastermind,
which has taken our business to such, oh my goodness, grown our business so much. So the least I could do is offer your followers 35%
thank you so much. Right, so I just want to reiterate before we finish then. So if people go to your website, Lusso Tan, LUSSOTAN.com, and when they get to check out, if they put in SV for Sculpted Vegan, SV35, they'll get 35% off their entire order.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Right, we are going to I'm going to put that in the email that's going to go out with the podcast. We'll put that below all of the notes. Can I put up my Instagram as well?
I would love you to put on your Instagram. Sure.
Okay. Okay. This is amazing. And this episode is going to go out tomorrow, because we wanted to go out tomorrow so people hear it before. Actually, it might even go out later on today, because they're going to edit it immediately, get it all written up. I think it'll go out tomorrow, actually. So we're going to promote this like crazy over the weekend, and going with the butt camp, and so that people can obviously pick up their Lusso Tan at the same time as their butt camp. And I thank you so much for the discount. I didn't ever hear you guys. You do 35% before. So honestly, the reason I'm getting excited is because anyone who's listening should really know what a big deal this is, because like Lusso do not offer, because their tan is so good. It's like, you really don't need to discount it. You're not like it's not like you need to discount it to get people to purchase it. It's like you are the leading tanning company globally, I want to say. It will be by the time I finish with you.
Yes.
Lynsey, this was absolutely and utterly amazing. Do you have a personal Instagram where people can find you, or a Lusso Tan Instagram as well?
Lusso Tan. So Lusso Tan, yeah. It's just LUSSOTAN.
At Lusso Tan on Instagram.
At Lusso Tan,
I think you are Lynsey Lusso Tan, LYNSEY.
I am, but I'm so bad at keeping up with my personal Instagram. I sort of feel that I have enough going on with all of these social medias. And I also, once I fall into that rabbit hole, so yeah, you'll get me at Lusso Tan.
I know the feeling. Right, Lynsey, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being here today. This has been absolutely amazing. I'm actually afraid someone's going to log into my next meeting and and cancel this and close out of it, because that's all happen if someone logs in as me. I've just realized the time. You have been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on here,
my pleasure.
and for offering such an amazing discount to my followers, and for creating such an incredible product, and a fellow Belfast woman as well. I feel like we should.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
It's been awesome. Right, Lynsey, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon, and we'll have champagne.
Yes. Thanks, Kim. Bye.
Bye.